Welcome to Dance Vision. We hope you enjoy this video we call Strictly Boleos. I'm George Garcia.
And I'm Christy Cody. In the first 2 chapters of this video, we'll be talking a lot about the technique for the Boleo. And we'll also be showing you the various possibilities for executing this element within the structure of the dance. Figure number 1 is back Boleo from position number 2.
Leader's footwork. Let's show you from the back. Left foot side, transfer weight to right foot, turning to the left, transfer weight to the left foot, turning to the right, spiral cross, changing weight to the right.
And now we'll show you the follower's footwork. Right foot to the side, left foot back in the Boleo position on the floor. On the return, that foot is going to come up in the air and collect to the right foot, following through into a spiral cross into the 5th position.
Let's show you the leader's technique for the Boleo. Side step, rotation to the left, rotation to the right. My weight's on my left, and I'm creating an open step or open position for the follower where she can step forward and spiral cross. Let's do that again. Side, I'm keeping her weight on her right foot with a little bit of up energy so she knows she's not going to be walking anywhere yet. Turn to the left, opening or inviting a Boleo from her leg, changing direction, and into the cross.
Even though showing the high Boleo now, this Boleo could be kept on the floor. I'll show you that example now. As George does the same thing, I keep the Boleo on the floor in a little more conservative Boleo and maybe safer for the social environment. Now, that decision is entirely up to me, ultimately, but there's other things that play into that, and that would be the musicality and also the energy of the leader. So if George gives me a lot of energy behind that Boleo, it probably will be inclined to go in the air. Or if it's a nice slow music and George is doing it very nice and relaxed, probably keep it on the floor. Again, ultimately, it's the follower's last call, since we want to be mostly concerned about safety and not kicking anyone else on the social dance floor. I'd like to take a very close look at the technique for the follower. I'm going to ask George to be my bar here, we might say. George is the bar. And first of all, we want to take a look at some of the details and articulation of the follower's footwork here for the Boleo. The first thing that's happening is the leader is actually leading just a rotation, a pivot. So we want to find out, can we pivot in the proper way for Argentine tango? By trying to pivot from the waist down, I try to keep my upper body with the leader and actually just pivot as much as possible from the waist down. This is the movement that we're following, either on the right foot, as I'm doing now, or on the left foot, forward and back. I like to call it washing machine technique because it is a nice even rhythm, and in fact it does have a rhythm. So even when you're practicing, try not to sort of just go through the movement like, okay, forward and back. Try to give yourself some music or at least a beat and get that rhythm in your body. Back and forward, back and forward. And you know how the washing machine, old-fashioned kind, they have a little soft action that takes place in the changing of the direction of the spin. It kind of goes one way and softly goes to the other. So we want to make sure that we're not pivoting like this, like jerky kind of motion, but rather soft changing to the other direction on either side with the left foot or the right foot.
Would you say that's clean technique?
Very clean technique. We want to make sure that our feet are in this position during the pivot. The toes are slightly open. The free foot is slightly beveled towards the left foot. In other words, bent over at the ankle. And the heels are together, and the leg lines are together all the way up through the knee, so that one knee is not popped forward of the other one. As we pivot, one foot goes for a ride. So if I'm pivoting on my left foot, for example, the right foot is simply going for a ride there. Now, you might say, well, that doesn't look like a Boleo, but in fact, the articulation of the lower part of the leg is what is the follower's responsibility here. The leader cannot actually lead me to do that. He can invite it with the energy and the speed, but it's my job to articulate the leg especially the lower part of the leg, and make it look in style of the classic Boleo. So as I'm pivoting on the right foot, and my left foot is free, I'm going to take that foot and bring it around in this position. Let's take a close look at that position. My thighs are crossed over, so my left knee is inside the socket of my right knee. The left foot has no weight on it. Inside edge of the shoe is on the floor, and I want to roll my foot or heel as much towards the leader as I can, so my foot is in a turned out position. Now, it would be perfectly okay to be more or less straight up and down, but never this way. We want to try to roll it towards the leader. Now, if you're having trouble getting that far around, it may be because you just haven't pivoted enough. So think about the standing foot a little bit more. Go back to what we were saying before about the pivot and washing machine technique. Bring the foot all the way around like this. Take a look at the standing foot. Now my right foot, if I don't pivot far enough, it's hard for me to get into this position. So I pivot just a little bit more, then it becomes very easy. Now let's take a look at how we collect. Once we've executed the classic Boleo technique, and we've pivoted around here into that position we just talked about, we need to collect the feet, which is what we always do after every step in Argentine tango. So this is no different. The leader pivots us on the right foot, and we collect the left foot to the right foot, finding our pivot position, just as we talked about before, with the toes open, the left foot slightly beveled, and we're back in the correct position. This is for Boleo back on the floor. Now, if we want to put that Boleo in the air, we simply lift it up in the return portion, keeping my left knee in the socket of the right knee, foot turned out, foot pointed, and collect it as I come around. This would be our Boleo in the air. Now, the same thing applies for the Boleo forward. Very often, it follows the Boleo back. Forward, we can bring it right down here in front. It's a lot easier than the Boleo back. If we want to put that one in the air, we can come around and go right up into this position. Be sure that the standing leg is turned out. This is not so attractive if we don't pivot far enough and we end up in this position. As you can see, much better here. So we want to create a forward Boleo that looks very nice by completing the rotation forward on the standing leg. So the Boleo forward can be independent of the back Boleo and must be executed with the lead, not to be confused with an embellishment, which very often is used, for example, from a forward cross step. A little flick right here is really an embellishment, as we've mentioned before, and we'll probably be mentioning again, because it's a common confusion between the actual Boleo and embellishment for the follower. We'd like to also talk about what typically happens after the back Boleo. So from the follower's perspective, we can expect 3 typical things to happen. 1, after the back Boleo, we might receive a lead for a forward cross step. This is very typical. A second option would be another forward Boleo, or I should say another Boleo, but in this case forward. We unwind and come back to the feet together. And the third one is the one we've been demonstrating in this video so far, back Boleo into the spiral cross.
And now with music. Figure 2A, back Boleo from back ocho on the right. Let's show you the leader's footwork. Left foot side, left foot forward outside partner, right foot side, left foot side, changing weight to right foot, ending in the cross.
And the follower's part? Right foot side, left foot back and across, right foot back and across, Boleo with the left leg, and forward cross step.
Let's talk about the technique. On my side step, I change weight to my right, forward in the back ocho, right foot forward, left foot side, changing weight to my left, and changing weight to my right.
In this back ocho, or back boleo, I should say, I could leave the boleo on the floor before the forward cross step. Many times people will ask, how do we know the difference as a follower between another back ocho and a back boleo? In the back boleo, George will keep me on my axis over my right foot. If he were to lead another back cross step from that point, he would be taking me from this vertical axis to a new vertical axis over here and going there with me. This is a complete change of axis. But here, it's a rotation on that axis, so it's a very different feeling.
From the back ocho, from the leader's perspective, you give the intention for the follower to take a step without her really taking the step. So if we lead an ocho, and invite almost another step, her leg extends, and we change direction. So you have to sell the idea that it will be a step, but you change your mind midway before she commits any weight. So we invite the step, and we change direction.
And now with the music?
And with the music. Figure 2B, back boleo from back ocho on the left. Leader's footwork. Left foot side, left foot diagonal forward, right foot diagonal forward, left foot diagonal forward, right foot split weight, left foot back, right foot closed to left foot.
And now the follower's footwork will be right foot side, left foot back and across, right foot back and across, left foot back and across, boleo with the right leg, forward cross step, one more forward cross step to arrive in the fifth position.
Let's talk about the technique. Lead a series of back ochos, 1, 2, 3. We invite one more back ocho, releasing her right leg, changing direction, stepping back with the left, leading a forward crossing step.
And from the follower's perspective, it's very similar to the previous figure, but it has a little bit different feeling because this is the open side of the embrace. And so we may have to adjust our arm position here, the left arm to go around the leader a little bit more, and then relax it back to the original position.
What I like to do on this boleo is to create a little more of a twisting action by crossing my right leg behind my left at the moment of the boleo. Gives it a nice action. And now to music.